Hello and welcome to Men in the Den. My name's Eric and it's Sunday. So this week on Men in the Den, it's Top 10s week, and I sincerely apologize for being late. I have spent a lot of time traveling this week, and I'm just finally getting my video done here on Sunday, and I have spent a lot of time pulling this together, and I hope you enjoy it. I will be sharing with you today my top 10 favorite moments from Game of Thrones, all 6 seasons. Number 10. When Sam walks into the library of the Citadel, Season 6, Episode 10. Sam and Gilly have been traveling to Old Town for probably an entire season at this point. And when they finally arrive, oh my god, it's an amazing vista. You see the tower of the Citadel of the Maesters, you know, with the flaming brazier on top, looking as iconic as ever, and the white ravens flying out. Sam comes in and has that super awkward exchange with the reference librarian at the front desk, but then is ushered into the library to wait, and oh my god, oh, the library made my heart skip a beat. It was so incredibly beautiful. It was so wonderful. Towers and towers of books. Books on chains, books on lecterns, amazing light fixtures. Sam had this moment, like, just catching himself, and I did too, just falling in love with the Library of the Citadel. Number 9, Season 1, Episode 10, The Birth of Dragons. After the death of Khal Drogo, Daenerys' lovely husband, played by Jason Momoa, she is determined to make the best out of a bad situation. She builds a funeral pyre, she places the eggs in the funeral pyre, the dragon eggs, and she lashes Miri Mazdur, the witch who killed her husband, onto the funeral pyre and sets the thing ablaze. And then she walks in, you know, not knowing what's going to happen, but trusting that it will be okay. And then the following morning, rising from the ashes, you see her sitting there with 3 baby dragons. She stands up, totally nude, and the dragons are like climbing all over her body and sitting on her shoulder, cawing, ah! And everyone bows down because holy shit, this is amazing. Magic is back. Number 8, Season 4, Episode 10, Brienne of Tarth versus the Hound. This is probably one of the realest, rawest fight scenes in the entire show. I don't think that any of the individual fights that have ever taken place in the show are as intense or out of control as that. Gwendolyn Christie deserves a fucking Emmy for that performance. It was off the chain good. Brienne of Tarth, trying to fulfill her vow to Catelyn Stark, finds Arya Stark in the company of Sandor Clegane, the Hound, and she determines that she's just going to fight him to the death to try to get Arya back. And it's sword play and fighting and fisticuffs and kicking, hand to the balls, like, you know, a bite off of the cheek or the ear, and just a rock to the side of the head and a kick off a cliff. Holy cow, it's mental. It's so good. Number 7, Season 3, Episode 4, Daenerys getting the Unsullied. Now, getting the Unsullied itself was not necessarily the awesome thing, even though seeing that army marching out was epic as shit. But how she earned it was the best. In order to make this trade, she determines that she's going to give one of the dragons to Master Krasnus. Master Krasnus gives her the whip. And she gives him the dragon chain, and she's like, "Are they mine now?" And he says, yeah, sure, whatever. And that's when she says, "Dolagenis!" And then the Unsullied, like, come together. You see Missandei go, holy shit, she knows High Valyrian. And then she tells them what's gonna be happening. Master Krasnus says, "This fucking dragon won't come." And then she says to him in High Valyrian, "Oh, that's because dragons cannot be tamed." And, so yeah. So, what does she say? Dracarys! He goes up in flames, Drogon goes flying off, kill the masters! Boom, 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 boom! And you see Drogon flying over the ramparts, just setting everyone on fire. And she turns around like, fuck yeah. Number 6, Season 2, Episode 10, The White Walkers March Upon the Fists of the First Men. So the Night's Watch have been beyond the wall for almost an entire season now, and Sam, Gren, and Ed are out there, and they hear the horn. Once, twice, 3 times. Oh shit, run for your life. Gren and Ed take off. You get lost in the snow. Sam, not knowing what the hell to do. He can't keep up with them. He cannot outrun this. He just breaks down and lays by the side of a rock, hoping for the best. He turns and he looks up, and boom. There is a White Walker on a dead horse looking down at him, and he turns away and leads this army of the undead to march upon the fists, and he just lets out his battle cry like, oh, and the dead just go marching in. Oh my god. Number 5, Season 6, Episode 4, Daenerys is back in Vaes Dothrak, and she's in the Temple of the Dosh Khaleen, and all of the cows of all of the Khalasars are there, and they're like, what are we going to do with this white chick? And she's like, y'all aren't going to do nothing to me. Boom. And she knocks down one of the braziers, the oil goes all over the room, the whole temple goes up in flames, she just keeps knocking them over, knocking them over, knocking them over, burning them to the ground. It's a very interesting echo to Daenerys with Master Krasnus burning people to the ground. Also in Episode 4, patterns are good. So anyways, she comes out of this flaming hut, walks out in front of everyone, her clothes have burned away again, and all of the Dothraki are there watching her. Jorah is there, Daario is there. Dario's like, what in the fuck is happening? And everyone's bowing down, he's bowing down. Bow down, bitches, because this is where it's going. Number 4, Season 5, Episode 8, Hardhome. Hardhome was probably the first time that you get to see the full brunt of the White Walkers and how they fight. And oh my god, it's brutal. I mean, like, The Walking Dead has got nothing on this. Like, this was over the top, terrifying, out of control. So Jon Snow and the Night's Watch are up beyond the wall with the Freemen. Tormund, Giantsbane, and Bone Shirt are there. There's a whole encampment of free folk, wildlings, out there that are trying to determine whether or not they're going to go with Jon or whether they're going to stay there and make an encampment and fight off the White Walkers. And they don't have time to make a decision because the White Walkers invade and they break through their fence. There's a whole cliff, that they think is safe, and they see the 4 horsemen up on the cliff, and bodies just tumble down. And even though they've tumbled down to the base of the cliff, they just get back up and keep fighting. It's brutal, it's out of control. And then you have this one moment, this one shining, amazing moment, where Jon pulls out Longclaw, his Valyrian sword, and goes through one of the White Walkers, and he just shatters into a million ice pieces, and it's just amazing. But the end of that episode just really nails how hard and how awful the forthcoming war with the White Walkers will be, because all of the dead humans, all of the wildlings and Night's Watchmen that were there, the Night's King just looks at Jon Snow and he does this, and all of them begin to rise. And you know that any human that you lose is going to be turning against you the second that they can get him, and that is terrifying. Number 3, Season 2, Episode 9, The Battle of Blackwater. The Battle of Blackwater is one of the first really great military set pieces in the show. And what happens is that Stannis Baratheon's naval forces are descending upon Blackwater Bay to siege King's Landing. They're going to sack the city, they're going to take the throne by force, and the Lannisters are going to have none of it. Tyrion comes up with a plan to have a false ship go out into the bay loaded with wildfire to destroy Stannis' fleet before it even hits land. Take out as many people in the water as you can before an actual fighting force arrives at the Mudgate to take the city. So this ship goes out, you see this green trail flowing out from it. Bronn's flaming arrow hits the liquid and everything goes up in a blaze of green fire. This huge napalm-like explosion just blows ships apart, burns people alive, flames everywhere. It's unreal and horrifying. Number 2, BastardBowl. There's been a lot of fan theories, and a lot of people have wanted to see this kind of matchup happen between Ramsay Bolton and Jon Snow, and Season 6, Episode 9 gave us that fan service that we've all been really wanting. So Ramsay Bolton brings all of his forces to bear, Jon Snow brings all of his forces to bear, Sansa also brings some forces to kind of help things at the last minute. But what you see is probably one of the best military scenes that the show has done, and probably one of the best military scenes that you've ever seen on television. Like, it took them like a month to film this episode, and it was absolutely worth it in every single way. You have everything. You have light infantry, heavy infantry, you have archers with ranged weapons, you have cavalry from both sides. It's unbelievable. Jon, for whatever reason, can't control himself. He just leads himself and his like tiny, smaller army down into the fight, and he's quickly encircled by Ramsay's forces. This leads to this constant war of attrition, like Ramsay's firing directly into combat. Doesn't matter if he kills his men or other people's men. It's just all just death, because he can afford to have a war of attrition. And that means that Jon and his wildling forces and the few houses that he's got allied to his cause are entrapped by this like wall of corpses, and that's when Ramsay sends in this like heavy infantry with big shields, pikes, and they form this Roman military phalanx basically to kind of keep pressing them forward until they just kill everyone row by row by row by row. And it's not until Sansa and Littlefinger come in with the Knights of the Vale and their cavalry to kind of break that phalanx out and to just rout the Boltons. It's brutal, it's amazing, and it is hard to watch, but it is such a good battle scene. It is absolutely amazing. You should totally watch that. Battle of the Bastards. And last but not least, the most amazing set piece that happened in the finale of Season 6, Cersei Lannister destroying the Sept of Baelor. This is number 1. This is by far and away the number 1 moment to have ever happened on Game of Thrones. It is an absolute game changer in so many ways. Cersei Lannister, being called to trial by the High Sparrow, has decided that she's not going to be playing these games anymore. And she concocts a plan with Master Qyburn to eliminate Maester Pycelle, to stash a huge cache of wildfire, or to find the cache of wildfire that Aerys, the Mad King, had already planted under the Sept of Baelor, and to finally detonate it. This is to burn the city to the ground, as she's been threatening to do for so long. She made good on her promise to burn the city to the ground. And in so doing, she takes out Loras Tyrell, Marjorie Tyrell, the High Sparrow, Mace Tyrell, Kevan Lannister, whole huge array of holy people. The Sparrows, for the most part, are blown to bits. There's probably a few of them randomly left in the city that are going to get probably hunted down, just as Septa Unella was. And when you see this explosion, it just bursts through the grating in the middle of the Sept of Baelor, and the fire just blows the building out. Shrapnel is going everywhere. Stones, the bell. It's haunting and horrifying, and it's smoking for days. It's like watching September 11th happen all over again. It's just unbelievable, and it's an amazing moment. It's one of the most shocking, horrifying, and powerful moments that the show has ever really put out, and it really is the culmination of a huge character arc for Cersei Lannister in so many ways. And, you know, I can't help but make that the #1 moment that's ever happened on the show, ever. So that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our channel. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. And don't forget, we also have shirts available now on redbubble.com. You look for Night Medic, and that's Dr. Phil's t-shirt shop, and buy yourself a Men of the Den t-shirt. They run around $20 to $25, and get yourself some. Get yourself a t-shirt, help us out, and I will see you all next Friday. Cheers!